During the Fever's highlight reel laden win over the formerly undefeated New York Liberty, many will remember the three threes in 38 seconds, rightfully so. Or the iconic moment when Clark hits a three-pointer over Stewie and they're laughing down the court, even Sandy Brondello clapping along and appreciating Clark's play. But what if I told you something else was happening on the floor that was harder to appreciate and equally as impressive? You see, this game, the Fever ran 11 different lineups, giving Clark quick breathers throughout the game. Part of being a head coach is finding out which pieces fit together best and which ones are most effective against your opponent. There were lineups that struggled, netting -16, scoring only 13 points. Lineups that netted +2, only scoring 7 in their time on the floor. And then there was one lineup, net +22, scoring 40 points. So out of the ordinary, it jumped off the stat page. It played over a quarter of the minutes in this game, and it makes sense why. This lineup was small ball, and this is how it dominated the Liberty. Small ball lineups typically refer to lineups that are 4 guards and 1 center. Teams like the Vegas Aces will run lineups like this as 4 out, with Asia touching paint and 4 guards on the perimeter. The Fever's lineup of Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston leans more heavily into speed, tempo, and motion offense, which features, well, I'll let Caitlin cover it.
I think our double drags early in transition to a stagger away. Like, they haven't been able to stop it yet, so just continue to get to that. But like I said, it starts on defense for us.
Many of you watching might have not known in that moment what Clark was talking about. Let me show you how this small ball lineup took these concepts and went on a staggering run to take over the game. This lineup is fast, often pushed the pace on the court, even if it didn't always strike home. Sorry, Lexi. This lineup's normal weaknesses of being small made up for it with tenacity and physically challenging every play, making the Liberty uncomfortable and wearing them down. Importantly, though, this lineup left the Liberty defense in disarray. Heading into the second quarter, the Fever were down and staging a comeback. Clark's heroics in the first quarter had brought the Fever back into striking distance, but the small ball lineup would turn their tables and present a problem the Liberty would have trouble solving. This is our first look at the double stagger away. At the top, we have Sophie Cunningham, who's bringing the ball up, and we have Clark off ball in the corner. What's going to happen is Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston are both going to come down and set staggered screens, to which Caitlin Clark is going to use these to get up the court and get the ball and then make a read and a play from there. Clark can go over the top in this case, or she can even weave between the screens if she needs to get to the ball. Either way, you're going to see the different variations of this play and how the Fever started to break down the Liberty's defense. And this one is iconic. You'll probably remember it for its end result, but you probably didn't know how we got here and the building blocks it would set up for the rest of this run. So here's Clark. She's going to come off the screen, go up top. She gets the ball. Now Aaliyah Boston is going to set a secondary action screen, but Clark is actually going to reject this, and Clark is actually going to call for the team to actually clear out this side of the court and put her in a one-on-one situation with Stewie. Here she rejects the screen, and now she's calling for them to leave. Now that it is cleared out, Clark could drive, but as you can see, she's already stepping back. Stewie, having no help, sitting back on her heels and not ready for this shot right over her. Boom, just like that, and we're off to the races. Again, the point of this isn't always to run it as planned, but the point is to make the defense have to make moves and catch them in disarray. And so this is a perfect example. Again, we're going to have the double stagger coming down here from Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. Although watch what we see here from Natasha Cloud, as she's going to fight through this differently, and Clark is not going to have Stewie on her this time. So as we roll tape forward, Clark again, she goes under this screen. Cloud is fighting underneath Aaliyah Boston and denying this pass in from Sophie Cunningham. However, instead what happens, now that Clark is covered, we have a secondary action where Clark is going to reject this, and now Aaliyah Boston is going to get the pass in from Sophie Cunningham. Now Aaliyah Boston, a great passer herself, Clark is going to fake up and then backdoor. And we're going to see Boston easily hit her here. Now that Clark has the ball, again, she has a trailing defender. She has Brianna Stewart coming up. So now she has to read the offense. And we have 3 guards now on this side. So what they're going to do is they're going to shift around, finding the open holes. And then as this defense now is collapsing in or trying to keep control of their person, Aaliyah Boston coming down to fill Clark's space, what you're going to see then is one of these 3 is going to be open. And so Clark is going to drive in, and you see as they start to space out, Clark has options. And the option she's going to go to right away is going to be all based on her read on Sabrina right here. So since Sabrina cheats down, she's going to hit Hall. Now both defenders are going to collapse to try to stop Hall. Hall could kick out to Sophie Cunningham, who will be wide open, but instead she's locked in, and she's just going to drill this one. Again, keeping the Liberty defense in disarray with the stagger away and showing different variations to be fluid in how you approach the response from the defense. And the third, the Liberty started to make a run that normally saw the Fever crumble. But this lineup put together a 17-0 run thanks to its inherent strengths and the double drag. Now we're going to show you the double drag. So the way that this works is it's similar to the double stagger, except for instead of 2 screens from a player off ball like Caitlin Clark, instead when she brings it up, she's going to get 2 screens from these players. Normally you actually would use Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard. You'd use your bigs, but either way in the drag, usually what's going to happen is one player is going to cut and the other player is going to pop after their screens, and then the ball handler is going to do a read. And the cool thing about this action is that you don't actually have to do anything off of this, but again, it puts the defense in disarray, and if you make a good read, you can make a play off it. If not, you can just go into a normal offense off of this. So we're going to see the screens come in here. There's the first one from Kelsey Mitchell, and then she's going to cut, and then the next one's going to be from Aaliyah Boston. There's the Aaliyah Boston. You see now Cloud is behind. There's a nice little lane here for Kelsey Mitchell to get in. Clark sees it, and she's going to push and threaten this pass to Natasha Howard in the corner, but she's going to find a brilliant pass. This pass is sick. When I watched it live, I mean, this pass is so good because they're kind of collapsing here, and she just kind of quickly looks off this way, boom, passes in, and unfortunately, Kelsey Mitchell misses the easy shot, but you can see right there, you can see the vision of what kind of plays you can create out of this. And we'll look at a few more examples here. Now we're going to see the same thing again. Kelsey Mitchell's going to pop up. Aaliyah Boston's going to pop up for the screens. Clark is going to take these. In this case, Cloud's going to fight under this one, which is dangerous. And then she's going to fight over this one because she doesn't want Clark to get to this spot and just pop them for 3, which in this case, since she's going over and the defender is going to come under, there's going to be a nice little gap here to hit Aaliyah Boston on the roll. This is ridiculously wide open right here. However, unfortunately, the pass does not make it through. Brianna Stewart has great hands right there, and she's going to be able to break this up. Alternatively, Clark could have hit out, or since Brianna Stewart bit, if Clark read this quicker, although she did have a wide open Boston, we could have hit Kelsey Mitchell here for a 3. Fortunately, though, Clark is going to hustle her butt off here and get a nice little block on Stewie, and we get the ball back. Well, this time we're going to be successful. So here you see the first screen come up, but instead we're actually going to skip. We're going to skip the second screen, pass ahead to Aaliyah Boston, and then Clark is going to come off for a DHO, dribble handoff, and then that is going to open us into the Aaliyah Boston rolling, and this time we're going to hit her. So there's the handoff. Clark this time gets the pass in, and now this is a really part why I love Aaliyah Boston. The defense has collapsed on her. She can't drive in or do anything. Kelsey Mitchell can come out, and this is a big enough threat that it's going to then send the defense and spread them back out as they try to recalibrate. Everyone kind of bites on this, and as Aaliyah Boston fakes, she just drives. And it's like she's so good at this, and this is the kind of stuff that makes this offense so dangerous for the Fever. All right, here we're actually going to see both, which is pretty cool. So they've changed the positioning of who they're putting up here. So Kelsey Mitchell is actually down in the corner over here, and they're going to have Lexi Hull set the first screen and Aaliyah Boston. Lexi Hull is going to roll, and Aaliyah Boston's also going to move down as Clark comes up. She's going to read that there isn't a play there. But the cool part is as we go forward, Clark comes off of this. There's no real play, but then Lexi Hull is going to come down. Aaliyah Boston's coming down, and now we have a stagger away for Kelsey Mitchell to make a play and a read. So Clark gets the penetration. Kelsey Mitchell is going to come off this. Both defenders now are sagged down. Sabrina's going to come out, and then Kelsey Mitchell is going to make a really quick read, and she's just going to straight go. And the cool part is Kelsey Mitchell could go here. She's pretty heads down, but there is a wide open Lexi Hull here. So as Breanna Stewart comes in on her, she could have easily passed out for a 3 there. But Kelsey Mitchell gonna hit it with the and one. Big play from her. And you got to see both plays there, the double drag and the stagger of Way using this offense, being very flexible in how we attack and move around the defense. The really cool part about this lineup, though, is that it is fast. And what will happen is if they get a good transition opportunity, they don't even have to run a double stagger away or anything like that. They simply just have to push the floor and wear this team out. And so what you're going to see here is after great defense, Hull's going to pitch it to Clark, and they're just off to the races sprinting. Clark's going to pull double attention here from Cloud and Sabrina because they don't want her to just pull up and hit a 3. And so this is where all these things that the Fever are doing are just stacking on top of each other. And we're going to watch them stack again after this. But Lexi Hull, wide open. And at this point, Breanna Stewart only has Kelsey Mitchell. And if Breanna Stewart comes up, then Kelsey Mitchell is easy too. But Lexi Hull on this one is just going to drill it. Boom. Again, Clark's going to get the rebound. We're going to push up again. Lexi Hull going to be wide open. So Clark reads it, going to push the ball ahead to her. Now, Lexi Hull right up here just hit a 3. Stewie and crew are stuck up trying to get their men. Aaliyah Boston rolls to the cup. And instead of Hull now threatening the 3 and taking the 3 right away, she's going to pass in to Aaliyah Boston for the easiest 2 of Aaliyah Boston's night. And to cap off this beautiful run, they just have they're now 14-0 on this run currently. The Liberty are in shambles. Natasha Cloud doesn't know how to guard anyone anymore, and she's going to get completely blendered on this one. So Clark's going to go up. The screen's going to come from Lexi Hull. Clark's going to reject it. Instead, pass to Aaliyah Boston, who's going to simply do a DHO to Clark, a little pitch as she's wide open out here as they just absolutely turn Natasha Howard around. So there it is. Natasha Howard expecting the screen and to fight for this way is basically spinning around in place, has no chance to catch Clark here. This defender's not pushing up past Boston, and Clark just goes and seals the deal on a 17-0 run. Beautiful comeback from this small ball team that just absolutely gave the breather room and space for the Fever to close out the rest of this game in style as they just continue to use these concepts over and over again to beat the Liberty. Well, I hope you enjoyed that deep look into the Fever, how they use the double drag, the stagger away, and the DHO made a comeback. So hopefully this is helpful for you that want to learn more about basketball and its terms and appreciate the plays that are happening in the Fever offense. And also this lineup, which we probably will see in a lot of future games because it has been so successful so far this year. And with all that said, leave a comment down below what you thought. Did you learn something? Did you enjoy this type of content? And as always, like, subscribe, and remember, you're going to be amazing today because you are amazing. And I'll catch you next episode.